Hello again, welcome to this Empire Gaming Review. I am your resident technology and gaming guy Dave, and this week we are taking a look at the latest and final installment in the long-running Yakuza series from SEGA with Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. It's available in April exclusively for the PlayStation. Now, we have played this on the PlayStation 4 Pro at both 4K and in 1080p, which we have used to capture footage for this review. So I haven't played any of the previous Yakuza games, which makes this an unusual entry point into the series, but not one that I found especially difficult to get to grips with. From the moment that you hit up the first menu, you're able to get written summaries of the preceding games so that you can, if you want to, better understand the long-running series protagonist and Yakuza extraordinaire Kiryu Kazuma, and the cast of characters that you will bump into along the way throughout this adventure. Now, even if you bypass that in favour of just jumping straight into the action, you will be filled in on the events leading up to the start of this game, which is that Kiryu goes to prison to atone and be absolved of his crimes as a Yakuza so that he can return to civilian life in the normal way of things. When he leaves prison, however, he is forced to return to the fictional series regular Tokyo district of Kamurocho to track down his adopted daughter Haruka, only to find that she has been in a hit-and-run accident, and oh yeah, it also turns out that she just had a kid which you now have to protect from becoming a ward of the state. No wait, I'm serious. So, Kiryu decides that he will take responsibility for the child, and also try and track down the father. Thus, the scene is set for Kiryu to venture through Kamurocho and the smaller map of Jingaicho Onimichi in the Hiroshima prefecture in order to find the answers that he's looking for. Despite sounding like the sort of thing that you might encounter on a daytime TV drama, I have found the story to be engaging. There's definitely a focus applied to the plot, and it's frequently given substantial dialogue and development which helps draw you in and build out an interest in the main themes of this game. Kiryu is a likeable enough character as well, being an absolute badass Yakuza brawler with a heart of gold type paragon character in one hand, whilst also running around a red light district and partaking in all the shenanigans that would go on offer with that in the other. That being said, the game does do a good job of not taking itself too seriously, dropping in some humour or otherwise lightening the mood when things start to look a bit too dark in most cases. Sometimes this works well, and other times it's a little bit on the cringy side, but on the whole, I think that it hits more than it misses. Also, if you're familiar with Japanese movies and things like that, you're going to notice a couple of the voices, and let's not forget there's also an appearance from Beat Takeshi in there as well. Now, one thing that I did notice was just how easy it was to get lost in all the mini-games that are on offer, both in Kamurocho and Jingaicho. What I enjoyed was how much each one of them was an adventure in itself. It never felt like busy work, or just being there to force you to grind for XP or otherwise lengthen the time that you would spend playing this game. From helping an underdog baseball team rise to the top of their league, all the way down to visiting Club SEGA and playing some of their classic arcade games. A few of which even have couch multiplayer modes that you can access from the main menu of this game. Hell, even just eating gives you experience in this game, as long as you're not already full from the last meal you had. I never expected a game to make me check the minimap for restaurants, but there you go. Now, speaking of XP, there's stats to boost and literally hundreds of skills to pick up with all of the experience you gain. Unlocking the skills needed to become a better combat specialist and kick more ass includes things like special moves, counter abilities, and a multitude of finishers that depend on whereabouts you are in the world. You also get passive skills such as increased rewards, better dialogue options, and better XP gains from the encounters. There's heaps to get across here. Now, when you're actually playing the game, you'll have a lot of fighting encounters anyway. Pretty much most street corners have a group of thugs or Yakuza hanging around on them, waiting to catch your eye. This game is, first and foremost, a combat brawler at its heart. Combat flows well, and whilst you start off with a relatively modest set of attacks, this quickly builds out thanks to that XP system, and you end up taking on a serious amount of bad guys at a time. Combat does remain fresh and interesting throughout the encounters, thanks to the wild array of things that can be used to enhance your abilities, ranging from chopsticks to mopeds. It really does just depend where you are when the fighting kicks off. Now there's a lot of dialogue in this game, and it is voiced exclusively in Japanese. You will be reading subtitles to keep up with what's going on if you're not familiar with the language, and that's definitely going to put some people off. However, the pacing of it does give you time to read and digest what's being said, and you will start to pick up a smattering of Japanese here and there. Not a lot, but, you know, maybe enough just to sort of do the basics like swear and order a beer, which is all you need. Now, I know this game isn't going to be for everyone, and being the last in a long-running series is quite an unusual place to pick up a game. But I must admit that I have found myself considerably charmed by what this game has to offer. Maps are great fun to explore, gameplay is entertaining and focused around hand-to-hand combat instead of gunplay. I've enjoyed the tale that the story has to tell, the array of mini-games and side adventures that also had a story element, and every single one of these pieces exists without a single microtransaction in sight. It is a remarkable achievement in that respect. If you are looking for a big, bold, distinctly Japanese adventure game, this should absolutely be on the top of your list, even if, like me, you're a latecomer to this particular party. I am going to give this one a 9 out of 10. Thanks very much for listening. This was Dave.